Of Coleman and Polly Farmer, E.J. Whitten, and I've seen better players, but he was a good player.
Boundary throw-in taking place, Moore using a bit of weight against Jones, but Jones had the effective ruck work working for him. Shaw tried to get around Doyle, put the ball down, holding the man decision, I'd say. Bit of rough and tumble here. Pun kick in towards the forward pocket, now it's coming back into the square. Thompson pushed out, Galt missed an easy mark, Rearmouth hand passes to Collingwood.
Comes down to Anderson. One bounce and quite a long kick. In the back is Carman. Mark the ball. And Carman is given the mark. Over the back of Barker, who's played a very good game, Barker, but Carman has been one of the mainsprings in the return of Collingwood after halfway through the second quarter. Carman getting the rounds of the whole crowd as he goes in to kick. The kick's look good at the finish. It is.
With Clark and Wiedemann openly hostile, the Magpies went down in the first final against Richmond, albeit by 4 points.
I was disappointed in the second year, there's no doubt about that, but I lost interest, the players lost interest, and there was nothing, I was belting my head against a brick wall.
Clark wanted Des Tuddenham back at the club in 1976, but Wiedemann felt he would be waiting in the wings to take his job, and while he resisted the move, the president won out.
I came back because I love Collingwood. It was part of Collingwood. Come back and be captain of Collingwood, which is terrific. But I love Murray, but Murray didn't have any discipline at all. The club was just, was just kick and giggle stuff.
Tuddenham replaced the highly popular Wayne Richardson as captain 7 seasons after being stripped of the honour. McKenna had left too after a kidney injury. He'd kicked 838 goals. He wanted to play on, but had to go elsewhere. The opening weeks of the season saw the row between president and coach hit the headlines on a daily basis. In the end, as Clark became more of an influence on team selection, Wiedemann issued the ultimatum: either he goes or I go.
Did you have any indication up until this morning that
president and coach hit the headlines on a daily basis? In the end, as Clark became more of an influence on team selection, Wiedemann issued the ultimatum: either he goes or I go.
Did you have any indication up until this morning that Wiedemann was going to make this statement?
None whatsoever.
You were friendly with him on Saturday, I presume?
Well, we were. There was no dispute or argument. I was talking to him on Saturday evening.
And you have called a special committee meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. Will that committee meeting discuss Wiedemann's future?
We'll discuss all aspects of the current situation, yes.
Would it be right to say that that committee meeting could easily sack Wiedemann?
Well, that will be up to the General Committee to make a decision in that area.
Everyone had become involved. The Richardson brothers had been dropped to the reserves. The club was at breaking point.
I think that they would probably have to fire Murray at this stage for his statements in the press.
What would be the attitude of players to that?
Oh, I think Murray would have full support of the players, Jack. I'm very sure of that.
Would you see a sort of a mutiny by players if that happened?
Well, I think the players would have something to say, put it that way.
Yeah. No coach can work without the full cooperation of the president and committee. The successful clubs have done this very well, and in the past Collingwood have always had a wonderful understanding from the president to the coach, and this is a must, Jack, and if there's trouble there, well, something's got to be done.
On May the 23rd, Clark resigned. He did so with some dignity, and just as it appeared that Thorold Merritt would take the top job, he declined, and it would fall on the shoulders of John Hickey. Des Tuddenham was 33, but still capable of handing it out. Against Carlton, his forearm buckled as it made contact with the head of Carlton's Mark McClure. The end was nigh. The mid-70s were the lowlight of Collingwood's century in many minds, and 1976 saw the club slump to last on the ladder and become wooden spooners for the first time.
To finish last was a really hard thing to cope with. When you look back on it, though, we only lost, or we lost 6 games, I think, under a goal. We won 6 to be wooden spooners, which I think is the most any club has won to be wooden spooners. But, yeah, it was very tough, and to finish wooden spooners for the first time ever to be a part of that club was very tough.
Wiedemann had warned the club that he would not seek the third year of his contract, and for the first time the Magpies looked outside their own nest. Tuddenham had been considered. 1953 Premiership hero Ron Richards was a contender, but when Richmond dumped Tommy HAFEY, he was the logical choice. In 1977, Collingwood, under the four-time Richmond Premiership coach HAFEY, would do what no other side had done in league history. They roared from bottom of the ladder to the very top.
I think a lot of people don't realise that the mental preparation and the mental build-up is probably even more important than the physical build-up. And, you know, this is probably the area which is the difference between the top and the ordinary sides.
Coming through for Collingwood pretty solidly was Barham, and he's been burning on the wing so far this quarter and showing his Hawthorn opponent a clean pair of heels.
Playing very badly at the moment.
Along the way, they introduced a young speedster named Ricky Barham, who would play more than 150 games.
Judging the ball, Barham racing in for Collingwood. He's going to kick his third, is he? Yes! Goes through, punches the ball through the legs of Polkinghorne. Barham there, cops run for his corner. Put through Manasseh, which lands the ball just over the centre of the ground. Hendry in the van for Hawthorn sees Peter Knight tap it forward, but it goes to Cooper, and Cooper shoots a hand pass out to the wing. Collingwood, they've been doing this all day. They look good when they do it too, and this is Barham. He's kicked about 4 goals for Collingwood, a very impressive player. How far can he go? He's gone about a mile, and look at the kick. Fantastic! 5 goals for Barham. Great play by the Magpies. And he gets congratulations from skipper Max Richardson. Tremendous effort. 1962 Hawthorn, Collingwood 18-8, 116. Great play.
In the second semi-final, the Magpies would win a thriller against Hawthorn by 2 points. It was one of the matches of the season, but it would come at a terrible cost. Carman was reported for striking Hawthorn's Michael Tuck. He would be suspended for 2 matches. This would be the first time the VFL Grand Final was telecast live into Melbourne. It was a guaranteed sellout. The Roos of Barassi against the Magpies of HAFEY. It was the battle of the game's super coaches.
No matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to be willing to fight without question or cause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm.
Collingwood would struggle to cover the loss of Carman. They would look to blonde ruckman Peter Moore up forward. Thompson, the veteran, was on his way to a record 5th Copeland trophy. He would confront and beat Peter Crackers Keenan. And the solid Magro would arguably be his side's best. By three-quarter time, Collingwood led by 27 points.
Should play on the hurry. He's taking too much time. Now the short pass goes to Weirmouth. He'll play on the hurry. Loves the run and off he goes. Shocking old scrubby kick though. Oh, beats them all. Down towards 4 foot. Governor misses it. Chance down the goal square. Rene kick and he's put it through.
Maybe that was a problem because I remember the hype at three-quarter time and that was probably one of the problems once again, not only the hype before the game but hype at three-quarter time. Committee or people maybe that shouldn't have been on the ground walking around saying, yeah, we've got them, let's go. And I think it was too much of a self-belief.
I can remember I was talking to some player and I looked around and all the staff, the trainers, the committee and everybody were jumping up and patting fellas on the back as though we'd already had it won. And all of a sudden I've had to yell out, you know, more or less, the game's still got 30 minutes to go.
And scores. North Melbourne a goal in front. The kick by Picken is into the goal square. There's a mark here to someone.
It's in front of Twiggy.
It's a Twiggy Dunn, I think, has got it. Oh, golly, it could be a drawn game. Well, the pressure on this veteran from Collingwood, played over 200 games, fires for the goals. And he's put it through and scores at that level.
And to get so close and not win it, and then now you've got to go through all that again, yeah, well, I was angry about it.
Picked up by Little Bob, he's going for a run.